Hey friends, welcome back to Willie's Wheels. Today's video is a special one as I'm lucky enough to be riding this epic 1991 Yamaha Super Tenere XTZ750. If you follow me on Instagram, you already know the story of this bike, but for those of you new to the channel, I picked up this beauty in autumn last year to be a winter bike after it came up for a sale by a friend of mine. So don't panic, I still have the body, and this actually meant that I could take the Triumph off the road for a couple of months to undergo some huge changes, which I'll fill you in on very, very soon. I'm so happy with where the Triumph is now, and it's looking epic, so of course I've got some great episodes coming up very soon, showing the journey of the bike to where it's at now. So make sure you subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. Now, back to the Yamaha. This is by far the oldest bike I've ever owned, and you'll see in this video, I really fell in love with it quickly. There's something just so charming about an older bike that's seen life, and that translates through the handlebars as soon as you take off. There's no electronics or TFT screens, no rider modes or weird button combinations to faff with, and in fact, this bike doesn't even have ABS. But what it lacks in features, it gains in absolute vibes. Just have a look at this thing. There's not a panel on it that doesn't have bumps or scrapes. Much of the front end is held together with cable ties, but past all of that and the imperfections sits an amazing, one-of-a-kind Dakar replica paint job and some serious character. Finally, sadly, I had to sell the bike a few months ago for reasons I'll explain at the end of the video, so please, at least for now, enjoy my Dakar-inspired Yamaha Super Tenere. One of my favourite things about this bike is the silhouette. It's so aggressive and chunky, and of course the colour scheme is just, I mean, it's awesome. It's so Dakar. This is actually a fully custom paint job. It's not vinyl. That is painted on the whole way around. And as you'd guessed, I'm not going to touch it. It is, I mean, it's even got like some paint drips in it. It's perfectly imperfect in so many ways. However, the closer you look, the more you'll notice as we go around, there are it just gets worse. There are quite a few blemishes here, and the first order of business, as I trip over this bike, the first order of business is to fix up these plastics. One major change on this Super Tenere is this has had the 750-850 swap, so the 850cc engine from TDM 850, which is the same casing, just bored out with a new cam, has been put in, and which means we get a bit of extra torque and a tiny bit more power, which is very welcome indeed. Here we are around the back, and you'll notice the big 2-light rear with the rack and everything is no more. This has a custom rally tail, which looks epic, but I'm not like in love with it, because underneath the subframe ends here. So actually this is like bendy. Now you'll see we've got a nice indicator here and a tail light, and on this side, nothing. So that needs addressing too. There's plenty to do on this bike, but the bones are just delightful. I'm actually testing out a new reverse cam for this, and you'll see it on the GoPro angle. Let me know what you think. I've been using it this whole time. I'm not convinced, but it does make the workflow of jumping on and off the bike and shooting and luggage and carrying cameras around a lot easier. So yeah, let's switch over now, hop on the bike. Now as you can see here, hopefully it's light enough, the camera we've been using up until now is the Osmo Pocket 3, and I'm quite intrigued to see how this episode comes out, because as you can see the form factor is so small, and when you take this battery pack off it's tiny, and it can be used instead of, I've been shooting on like a mirrorless with a Ronin gimbal, big lens, wireless mics, all of that, and it's just like, I mean, it's great. A lot of people say they love the quality of the image that I make on the channel, but I'm trying to streamline it and just get it to a place where it's a bit more manageable and less of a mental mountain for me to climb before I actually start going out and recording. This is the thing I'm really interested in. Mounted to the bars here is one, how many kind of vibrations and things come through the bars. It hasn't got a shock absorber on it yet, but also on the app here I have tracked my face. I've drawn a box around my face and it's tracking my helmet, and hopefully it will track, yeah, so in theory I can get off the bike, get on the bike
and leave, and it's all tracked, which is pretty sick. So definitely a level up from the GoPro. Anyway, I'm going to turn off the screen, it's going to be distracting. Let's go for a ride. We'll try not to slip over because I already have. Just if you're interested, this pocket has got the wide angle adapter on it, and it doesn't feel quite wide enough, you can't see the bars. I'm willing to compromise a little bit on that if this is cool. And I want to see how it feels when we're riding. Right, let's leave. Too much chat, my friends. So let's see how the camera gets on, and let me talk you through. And let me talk you through a bit more about this bike. So if I go stood up here, oh, that's weird, it's tracking me. The other benefit of using this camera, just a side note, is it links straight to a DJI mic. And I've been using that on the GoPro for about a year in order to get two audio sources. So the fact that it just works and it's like integrated straight in is pretty cool. So let's see how we get on with this mounted here. I think it might be a bit shaky. So the audio you're hearing is a lav into a DJI mic into the pocket. We'll see how it goes. So, the 1991 Super Tenere, here we are. As we're cruising on one of my favourite roads near where I live. Unfortunately, I don't live in a house like this. I live near here. Let me tell you a bit more about this bike then. So it was built and released in the same year that I was born, which is kind of crazy. The XTE variant won the Dakar in the 90s 6 times. Formidable bike and iconic. The livery on this bike is iconic. The Chesterfield livery, it's so cool. The 750 engine has been replaced by the TDM 850, which is the sister variant of this bike, and physically it's a really easy swap. It's the same engine, it's just bored out and got a upgraded cam. So, oh, nice. So whoever's owned this before has done the swap, and it does give you some decent horsepower improvements. I think it's like 10%, and torque. And there's no real downsides, there's no weight gain or anything like that that's noticeable. Speaking of, it's a fairly hefty bike, it's like 210 kilos, it's got a massive tank, 23 litres. And that's kind of part of the why behind getting this bike and actually saying goodbye to the DRZ was, I mean, I'd hoped, whoa! I'd hope to be doing more like enduro days and... Hello, Mr. Osmo. There we go. I'd hope to be doing some more days away, enduro days, off-road days, green lane days, and the reality is they just didn't materialise with work. We work on the weekends because of wedding photographers, and this summer my friend and I officially launched our production company for commercial video, and since then we have been like just flat out, and I was like, the DRZ just sat there. Shame just to see it sat there. So I thought, you know what, I actually sold it to a friend of mine who's been using it since, which is cool. And the reality was I was missing my Scrambler actually quite a lot. I can't afford a bike like that at the moment, but I picked this up for a really good deal. And I thought, you know what, it's £200 a year to insure. This is actually potentially a little bit more practical than the Scrambler was. Plenty of power. So compared to the Bonnie, which I've still got the Bonnie, don't worry, but this is just a bit more of a practical winter beater. I've gained a heck of a lot of wind and weather protection. My feet are high up off the ground, and it is a bike that is designed to, well, it's an adventure bike, isn't it? Designed to get wet. I'm going to fit a rack to it to chuck stuff on, and run it also as a bit of a tracking camera bike, which is going to be cool. But yeah, it's just a bit more of a practical bike. The Bonnie is also old, but not as old as this. But I didn't really want to run it all through winter because these roads just suck, and it is really savage for an older bike. He says riding a 32-year-old machine. Oh, I know where we are. Man, that's a great road. I love it. So cosmetically not great. It's obviously had a crash. It generally feels washy. I think I need to get the suspension looked at. It's quite bouncy, unheavy, but I would expect better. I'm going to see if I get into some traffic here. But when I'm at a lower speed, trying to here, it weaves and washes in and out. It feels like it tips more than I'm telling it to, which is weird. And I think, I'm not sure if that's a tyre thing. I've got the Bridgestone Michelin Anarchy Wilds on. Not sure if it's a tyre thing or a mechanical thing, so I'm going to check that out as well. But this will be going in and out of town with me, so I need it to be very, very stable at low speeds, like here. It's like it tips left, and I don't know if that's the tread on the tyres or something is awry up front. This is great. I just love the look of it. I love the dashboard. It's super clean. There's absolutely no aids or computer modes or anything. Just an engine and a throttle and some brakes and wheels and bits. It's super simple and it's so charming. And the gearbox works. Yeah, it's great. It's got so much charm and vibe and presence, and yeah, it's awesome. Whoop. Exhaust sounds great too. Shabba dabba ding dong. It's got a nice little fart to it. The low end on this engine with the aftermarket exhaust sounds great. It's got a lovely little pop. Oosh, oosh, oosh. Certainly in the winter, I'm going to be really grateful for having a lot more protection here. But also, I want to go on some winter trips. Weirdly, I actually often prefer riding in the winter, and I find myself gazing out the window. I think it's probably a desperation to be outdoors and like enjoying the daylight. I do all of my planning and like dreaming during the winter, and then the summer comes around and it's like everything's so busy, wedding season's so busy, and it's also so hot. It's really annoying to wear like proper gear. So I end up just pootling around, but quite keen to see if we can do some springtime adventures, and I think this is going to be the machine for it. Pretty excited to have a new project. In the meantime, as I said, I've still got the Bonnie, and I will be feverishly working away on it over winter. Got it set up in the back garden. I'm going to be doing some pretty big changes to it. Braking on this is decent. Got 2 discs up front and a very effective rear brake once it's warm. This thing definitely doesn't lack braking power, that's for sure. You don't get the same amount of feel that I got on the Scrambler or with any other bike, to be honest. Like even the Bonnie has a way better feel through the lever, but there's a lot of power in it. Now something I do have to watch out for is it doesn't have ABS, so I do need to bear that in mind. that is something I actually wish the bike had.
What a machine. I absolutely loved ripping this thing for miles and miles and miles throughout the winter. However, sadly, the time came in the new year for me to sell the bike. Some life things happened, which I can't get into, but I had to make some financial changes in our life and I couldn't keep the bike. So much of the plans I had for the bike sadly didn't come to fruition. Sorry about that, but that is real life. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please hit like and subscribe. It really helps me out making more content like this. And in the meantime, stay safe. I'll catch you all very soon.